I want to walk through something that I think is really important, something that often gets missed. And it's when you go to get your Google Business Profile reinstated, and Google comes back and says, we will not reinstate this profile due to policy violation. What can you do? How can you check that when Google refuses to reinstate a profile and you know that the all your documentation matches, your Google Business Profile doesn't violate any of Google's guidelines? Everything should be good. There's no other reason for it to be suspended or not be reinstated. One thing that we have to come back to is your user profile. So I want to walk through this because this happens a lot, like a lot, where Google just refuses to reinstate a profile. You can go through the forums, you can find tons of these cases. Now, why can't a Google Business Profile be reinstated? Now, I've gone through and I've laid out a whole bunch of reasons for this. One of the big ones is user account restrictions. And Google's provided a service or a URL where you can check the restrictions, but I've actually found, and I've posted this on social media, accounts that say that they pass, that they're not restricted, but when you go into the admin on the account, you can clearly see that there's a banner that says this account is restricted, and it tells you the service that's restricted. So in often cases, we're looking at Google Business Profile restrictions on specific accounts. So going through this, the URL here, you can go and visit it and you can check your URLs or your user accounts, but I don't trust it. So let's get into it a little bit further. So how do you find and fix your user account restriction on the Google User Admin dashboard so that you can reinstate a business profile? So Google says they'll let you, when there's a user account restriction, they'll let you know. They'll also say that they will tell you. Both these things are true. So you will get notifications, you will get updates in your email if your Google account is restricted. So you can go back and you can find that stuff in your email. If you can't find it, then there's other ways to go and view it. So when you have a user account restriction, Google will also tell you that on the appeals tool. But if it's just saying policy violation, then you might not get that indication. So what I have put together here is the step-by-step with visuals. How do you go and you find that? If you are signed up for Google Workspace, you can go in and you can find the admin side of your business, of your account. There should be a URL here. I don't remember where I put that one. Terms of service. So often you'll get your profile's been put under restriction due to policy violation. This is a really common email. It's just like a generalized email that they send out. You've been suspended due to policy violation. They don't go into details about what that is. So I go straight to admin.google.com on an email, whatever the user account is that I'm signing into that Google Business Profile with that was suspended, and then go to the Alert Center. When you're in the Alert Center, you can see there's all these different things laid out. These all these different alerts that notify you in the different platforms that you're using. So in this case, I've got Gmail set up and I've got Google Chrome. This has to do with the browser. So this one says Google recently detected activity from users in your domain. This is a high severity issue. This is actually what caused a suspension. There was a problem with a user on the domain that triggered a suspension for a number of accounts. When we get farther into it, we can go and we can look at the details on it. Customer abuse detected is where the issue was in this specific case. So I clicked through and found the account that was the problem. You can see terms of service violation. and the restricted service was Google Business Profile. You can see that right there. When you click on View Additional Details, I want you to understand that this is an entire domain issue. So when you run into a case like this where a policy violation triggers a suspension on your Google Business Profile, it can go the entire domain wide, which will affect all the users on the domain. So Google Workspace accounts engaging in suspicious activity may be found in violation of the Google Workspace Terms of Service, Google Workspace for Education Terms of Service, Google Cloud Platform Terms of Service, or Cloud Identity Terms of Service. This isn't just for your Google Business Profile. This touches on a plethora of other parts of Google that you might be using, other areas that you might not think are related to Google Business Profile, but they are. So in this case, I went back through and I appealed the restriction on this user account. And guess what? Google reinstated the profiles after my appeal. This happens a lot. And so I want you to understand this and walk through this to understand when you go through the forum and you run into Google cannot or will not reinstate this listing and your business profile is suspended due to policy violation, this is one of the first places that I recommend going. Go to your admin, go to the dashboard, find out what the problem was. Is there an alert? Is there customer abuse? Is there anything like that? Figure that out. If you need help with this, you can contact me. We can go through this together. So what do I hope that you've learned from this article? I hope it's been helpful. I see a lot of cases like this in the support community where listings can't be reinstated. So if you fall in this category, then let's have a discussion. More and more of this seems to be happening, and it's really vague. So if you're stuck, if you have a Google Business Profile that you cannot get reinstated, that Google says, we will not reinstate this profile, go to your admin dashboard, check and see if you have a restriction and if the affected, where was it? So I don't get my terminology. The restricted service is your Google Business Profile. Then you want to appeal that, fix the problem with that restricted user or on that domain. And then you can reinstate your Google Business Profile. Let me know what you guys think and if you have questions about this.